Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today in this video we are going to be continuing the JavaScript for Beginners series. And in this video I'm going to be teaching you some string methods. So this is going to be the chapter 3 of this series, and in this chapter 3 we're going to be learning string methods and only that. So in the previous video we've completed our chapter 2, and in the chapter 2 I've given you some works to do. So the work were actually, it was a singular work, so it was just really easy. If you've done it, that is good, but if you have not, I'm going to give you the solution. So yep, this is the solution to it. We're simply using something called a function, and in the function we've added a parameter, and we're using for loop, which is reverse. I actually told you in over here, we're simply doing that. Okay, so yep, that is it. Now okay, how did it print twice? I didn't mean it to print twice, but it's alright. So that is it, guys. Chapter 2 has been ended, so we are gonna go ahead and look into chapter 3 now. Now I've created a folder already, and I've actually made index.js and index.html, and I've set up everything. You can do it yourself. So we're just simply gonna go ahead and start with our multiplication table. So that is our chapter 3, and I'm going to close all of this, which I don't necessarily need, and I'll make it full screen. Okay, this is giving me a bunch of errors, but let's ignore it. So I've included this in the heading using the differ I taught you in previous videos. Now, index.js, we're going to create a string here. Const let's say sentence, and I'll go and say a person was walking through a forest. He sees a beautiful woman sitting on a wooden log. Okay, now this is the sentence that I've written. So I'm just going to go ahead and give a full stop so that it's a complete sentence. So now I'll go ahead and tell you the methods that we use. So what are methods? String methods. So string methods are those kind of functions or properties that we can use in order to manipulate the string, manipulate the content, or we can get some additional information about the string. So first, let me start with a property or method called .length. So if I write sentence .length, and if I console.log it, so console.log, and if I run the server, live server over here after saving the file, now in the inspect, I will see that the length of the string has been printed. The sentence has been printed. The length of the sentence is 90. So the length is not only dependent upon the sentence, but it's also dependent upon the white spaces. So if I go ahead and remove this white space over here, now we can see that this is 89 because one character has been removed. So always remember that white spaces are also some kind of character in JavaScript. So length is not a function. Length is a property, and property are actually used without any kind of parentheses, and functions are used with parentheses. In the previous video I told you that calling a function requires us to use parentheses. So if I go ahead and tell you about the next one, so the next one is known as uppercase. So it's going to be to uppercase. So what does to uppercase does is it converts all of this into uppercase. That means it's going to convert all of that into capital letter. Sorry for my voice, I'm a little bit stuttering. I don't know why, but you can keep up with that. Console.log. I will go ahead and say sentence.to uppercase. If I go ahead and say that, what does it do? So it's a function, so I need to call it. So yep, it says a person was walking through a forest. He sees a beautiful woman sitting on a wooden log. Now that is what we know. Okay, that is what we know, that it converts all of that into uppercase. But how do we convert that into lowercase now? So in order to convert that into lowercase, we're simply going to go ahead and use something called to lowercase. So to lowercase. If I go ahead and console.log, and I'll say that I need to convert all of that into lowercase, so I'll use sentence.to lowercase, and it's a function, so I need to call it. And yep, all the things that we see here is in lowercase. So now this is what we know. So after we've known about uppercase and lowercase, we're gonna learn about something called slice. So if you heard the word slice in your day-to-day life, slice means to cut things up and separate it. So that is what it is in JavaScript. We're simply gonna go ahead and cut a part of the sentence, and we want to get it to us. So suppose I want to go ahead and cut this part over here. So what do? So indexing in string and indexing in strings and indexing in arrays both are the same. So it always starts with 0. Index always start with 0. So we're going to count from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that means let me start 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, you need to count the white spaces over here as well. So I'll go ahead and console.log, and if I go ahead and say sentence.slice, and I go ahead and slice, I want to slice up to this much. So what do? I go ahead and say from the 0. I want to slice from the 0 all the way up to index 8. Why am I saying 8? Is because now this is going to slice within 0 and 8, not from 0 to 8. It is going to slice within 0 and 8. So 0 all the way starting including this, and it's going to go ahead and include this as well. So yep, that is what do we know about slice. So it's going to go ahead and print a person. Now if I go ahead and say 7 over here, it's going to go ahead and give perso, because it is going to say that include all of this, not this. Okay, now there's something similar to slice in JavaScript, which is substring. So this is actually same thing. The job is the same, the functionality is the same, but there's a little difference using slice and substring, but you can use them as same. It's not wrong that you use something and say that these two are not the same. These are the same. Okay, you can say these are the same. It's not wrong. So if I say sentence.substring, and if I go ahead and say I want to go ahead and cut from 0 to 8, it's going to do the same exact thing over here. So yep, it's basically the same. So we've learned about slice and substring. We can learn about replace as well. So I think that forest doesn't suit over here. So I want to replace this forest with a jungle. So to replace that, I'll go ahead and say console.log sentence.replace. It's going to replace the thing. So it's going to replace forest with jungle. Now this doesn't actually give you, or this doesn't return the changed word. It's going to go ahead and return you the whole sentence, but it's going to be modified. Instead of forest, we're going to have jungle. So you can see a person was walking through a jungle. He sees a beautiful woman sitting on a wooden log. That is what do we know about replace. Now after we've learned about replace, there's something called concat. So let's take an example that I want to add something to this string. I want to add more. I want to add more clarification to that sentence. In order to do that, I need to go ahead and say console.log. I want to go ahead and say sentence.concat, and I will say I need to add that. I need to add something to this story. So sitting on a wooden log, he approaches the woman, the lady, or let's say lady. He approaches the lady, but suddenly the lady disappears in the mist. So this is just like a horror story I'm trying to write, but you just don't need to focus on that. You need to focus on JavaScript. So yep, we see that this has been added. He approaches the lady, but suddenly the lady disappears in the mist. So I need to give a space over here so that it makes evenly and it's organized. So we've learned about concat as well. Now we're going to learn about something called trim. So trim is basically a method that is going to go ahead and remove extra white spaces in your string. So let me go ahead and create a new variable, const, let's say contains white spaces is equals to, this is going to be hello world. Okay, now if I go ahead and console log this one, console.log contains white spaces, is going to go ahead and print us the white spaces as well. So I want to remove the white spaces, so I simply go ahead and run this trim method, and yep, this has been trimmed. So it removes the extra white spaces, not this white space, because it's a character inside of the string. Now that is all the methods that we need to learn in JavaScript. These are the methods that are mostly required while you're making an application. And yep, that is it. I don't want to teach you more, but you can go ahead and learn those using string methods. You can go ahead and use this type of sources. You can use Mozilla as well. See, it is going to provide you different kinds of methods. So we've just learned about the basic methods, which are actually usable and they are practical as well. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe this channel, and yeah, don't forget to join the Discord server, and if you need any kind of help, you can go ahead and message me on there. So that is it for today. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care everyone, and goodbye.